Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now these are your readings for the full moon for August the 3rd. So that's the full moon in Aquarius at 11 degrees Aquarius, 11 degrees 45 minutes. Now it's a bulk introduction as ever. There will be a timestamp down below so that once you've watched my waffle the once, you don't have to watch it all over again. Just click on the timestamp in the description. Now, also in the description, there is a link to my Facebook page for this channel, which is relevant for this video. But that's also where you can contact me for a personal reading if you want. Now, these are general readings. I call them Gods at Play readings because the full moon is about opposition, sun, opposition, moon. It's about the push and pull of the forces. Now, I use God cards like Gods of Titans, Mythic Oracle, Dark Goddess Oracle cards, to look at the forces that are working to suppress you and the forces that are looking to uplift you. The forces that are suppressing you, I'm taking a Gnostic view of the ancient gods, that they are masks being worn by the archons who want to feed off of our pain and misery and fear and general non-connectedness to the divine. The bottom row is the true gods from the pagan point of view, the gods that are there to help lift us up to our higher selves, to connection with the divine, or that are simply there to ensure the functional running of the universe, one or the other. You know, there's certain gods within the pagan religions, they don't care whether you're there or not. Other gods do care. So we can see the interplay between all of those. So this is there's not a past and a present, so there's not really an element of take what resonates either. It's like an energetic forecast, and it'll either be useful for you or it won't. I would imagine if your birth chart is affected by this full moon, or at the moment by Uranus in Taurus, then these readings will probably be more relevant for you. You can ask a question beforehand, like I tend to say in all my normal videos. I make no promises as to whether the answer to your question will even be touched upon, because it's not really that sort of spread. But hey, give it a go. Give me some feedback if you ask a question you get an answer, because that'll be interesting to know. Now, as I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, says me, discussing about the full moon or the astrology of the full moon per se, because there's plenty of astrologers on YouTube who are doing it better than me. I would particularly recommend, as ever, Anastasia Cosmic Astrologer. I recommend Rick Levine, the Astrology Hub, Rick, R-I-K, Leo King. You know, Namaste Today. I've not watched it yet today. It's Sunday and it's out. And as I'm actually discussing this, I have done 7 of the readings so far. I've got as far as Libra. The rest I'm going to actually have to do tomorrow on the day of the full moon. So if you're Scorpio onwards in the zodiac, sorry, you'll have to wait till tomorrow. But one thing that did get my attention about this full moon is that it is square Uranus in Taurus, and a square creates a difficulty that can be overcome through creativity, through the application of creative energies, whatever that means. And I think that has shown in the 7 readings that I've done so far, as this time they seem quite personal. I mean, maybe you could take it on a societal level, but this time they seem very, very personal situations. Something that they all feel a lot closer to home rather than any commentary on what local governments might be doing or local police forces. You know, as my full moons a couple of months ago, was it even last month? It must be a couple of months ago now, seemed to pick up on a lot of the protests that had not yet started when I did the readings. But don't worry, you are still rebelling. You are still resisting, but you seem to be rebelling and resisting things that are a lot closer to home. But that rebelling and resisting does seem to be a theme with the readings this month. And also, no, it's gone out of my head what I was about to say. So where were we? Rebelling and resisting. That square to Uranus, there's repeated themes that are coming up for everybody. There's the Archons pretending to be Poseidon or Uranus have come again and again and again. And opening doorways to transformation of your own life, transformation of where you believe that you're heading. That's coming out as well. Now, if I haven't said it already, you want to watch your sun and your moon, obviously, and your rising sign, because in ancient astrology, the rising sign is the most important, hence the timestamp. Now, I'm just going to have a look at the, excuse me, the symbols of this degree. As I said, 11 degrees Aquarius, so written down in like inside degrees as Aquarius 12, because 11 something is the 12th degree. And the Chandra symbol is, or inside degree symbol, is a heated argument turns into laughter. Now what it talks about is tension and release, contraction and expansion, the breath of the mind resolving its dualities. Now Rick Levine on I think it was on Astrology Hub was saying that the whole job description of Uranus is to instantly resolve irreconcilable opposites, and try saying that after a couple of whiskey. So this really sits with the theme. Now it says, in order to make it possible for radical truths and significant realizations to come through, you must first karmically dramatize, inside the ego mind and outside as well, the unbearable tension between opposing points of view. You enter upon disputes, advocate positions, set up heroes and villains. And then when your whole inner and outer world is packed with dilemmas, problems, arguments and battles, you become ready to seek out synthesis, to enter upon a cycle of restoring wholeness. During your experimental years, spice means everything. But during your maturity, there is no further mileage to be had in turning anything against anything else. Getting it that you made it all up in the first place, and that the rational mind delights in controversy but has its limits. When resolution comes, everything looks different. All of life turns around, and most particularly your relation to yourself changes from the critic into the friend and respectful ally of your own inward intentions. Yes, I didn't read this before I did those first 7 readings, but that makes a lot of sense with what I've seen all the way up to Libra. And now I love the Omega symbol is a man struck by lightning is miraculously unharmed. And it's showing that lightning effect of Uranus to bring in change. One thing that Rick Levine said again is that Uranus in Taurus does not like change. So Uranus this time will bring bigger changes less often, because it's like that change energy builds up, like as he said, within a capacitor, and then all of a sudden pop and it's used. Now as they say here, it's a wonderful thing to be serious and passionate about life, but not good when, through our attachment, we turn what is important to us into a burden. Now, this degree is about knowing and focusing on what is important to us, that came out in the readings as well, while learning to carry it lightly. When we attune to the greater spiritual reality from which our consciousness has arisen, we inevitably come to know the joy of pure being. Now, there is symbols of hope here. I mean, all this is fantastic, but it sounds like a lot of work as well, doesn't it? Now, the Pleiadian symbol, which I'm not entirely sure where that's from, because I've not been able to source the origin of these Pleiadian symbols. I mean, other than the Pleiades, obviously. An escalator carrying people far into the sky, which is just a beautiful image. So whatever the full moon brings to you, I want you to consider that whatever it is a step up. Simple as that. Even if it really doesn't look like a step up, that's the way you have to look at it. For your own sanity, that's the way you have to look at it. But whatever it is, it's a step up. Now, interestingly here, from the information that I got, there's each degree has a seed degree and a fulfillment degree. And if somebody could guide me in the comments as to what that actually means, I'd be very grateful. But the seed degree, this really grabbed me, is Leo 23, so obviously 22 degrees Leo. So the sun right now is, well, right now as in the time of the full moon, will be at 11 degrees Leo. So a simple another 11, so you know, numerology 11, big important number, to this seed degree, Leo 23. And it says, a secret race of beings carrying on a hidden existence among humans. That's the Omega symbol for that degree. Now, for the more tinfoil hat wearing of us, that obviously will make you think, oh my God, it's the astral reptilians and the they live scenario. But there's also looked at it in a young adult fiction way. You know, like the X-Men or the Eternals soon to be released, or you know, elves walking among us, all that sort of thing. But what I'd like to give you the image of is that we are that secret race of beings walking around, carrying on a hidden existence among humans. I mean, obviously, we are humans. We are all humans. We are all humans. And we are all aliens if you take reincarnation into account. So there's this 1 degree of the full moon straight after the 3 eclipses and everything else that's been going on this year. 2020, I mean, for God's sake, October's full moon is on Halloween. I mean, if it was going to happen any year, of course it will be this year. But there is a wonderful sense of activation, both in the degree symbols, even that seed degree of 11 degrees Aquarius being Leo 22 degrees Leo, there's that wonderful sense of activation, especially if you think about that escalator thing as well. And there is, in the readings, a wonderful sense of not just activating it as an idea, but actually doing. Right. And there's me saying I wouldn't waffle about the astrology, but I don't think I have. I've stuck to the symbols. So, timestamp down below for the next one that you watch. Remember, sun, moon and rising. Birth chart link down below as well. If you don't know what your moon and rising are, they're always a good idea to have a look at. Comment. It is always good to receive the feedback. And thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed or liked the videos so far. The likes do help, the subscriptions help even more, and hey, you want to see what I'm going to do, so subscriptions, notifications bell, and come and join us on the Facebook page, link down below. Right, time to get on with your reading. And welcome Aquarius rising and Aquarius moon, if you've just joined us after the timestamp. Now, of course, Aquarius rising, this full moon is happening in your first whole sign house. Aquarius sun, this is pinging you on your very identity. Aquarius moon, I would imagine that you are getting quite filled by the emotional energy of the moon and the expansive energy of the moon. Now, we have quite an interesting and no doubt trying time for you. Sorry, Aquarius. I'm always forecasting trying times for you. But there's a beautiful way out here. I'm going to start with the message that I see in this reading. This full moon with the square to Uranus is going to bring something unexpected to you that is going to assist. It's going to take you to a whole new place. We have on your side here Pontus as the unknown. There is that influence of Uranus, where you are being taken to somewhere new with Odysseus, with journey, which leads you to a harvest. It leads you to something that there is a warning with Demeter. Don't hold on to things too tightly, all things in their season. But what you are being offered by the Archons and the negative forces trying to suppress you and keep you away from your divinity is a repetition of the same old, same old. I mean, it appears like light has been thrown on a situation that makes you go, oh God, here we go again. That's Helios with his cycles. And here we go again, Aries with battles. But I feel that this is, you're being drawn into a battle partly for the wrong reasons, which I'm getting from Helen and Troy here, and partly because somebody in this situation is biting off more than they can chew. Hubris from Arachne. And also with Arachne as well, I'm getting the whole idea of you getting tangled up in somebody else's web. You do not need to enter somebody else's battle, somebody else's war. You do not have to make a transition to this more combative period of life for something that really to you is dead. You've been hurt enough already by influences here. So it's time for you to become the teacher, and the time for you to become the teacher is for you to stand back, allow this unexpected thing to happen, play with the situation and realize that not everything is what it seems. You are under the influence of Loki here. You are under the influence of a trickster god. Now, I don't want you to think about Loki of the Marvel movies. Even though he's probably going to turn into a hero now, because but Loki is neither hero nor villain. He's a trickster. Sometimes he will be your adversary to teach you a lesson. Sometimes he will be your ally to teach you a lesson. Sometimes he will be both, you know, and that's the one where you can get quite emotionally hurt. But the whole reason for this event, these events that are going on, we have Iarathel, number 27 of the Shem Hamathrash, and it's an angel whose astrological degree signifies the propagation of light. And I didn't notice to start off with my old friend Renove here representing slavery, but Renove is very much about diplomacy as well. Renove is hideously ugly and fantastically charming, to just go to show that beauty, Helen of Troy here, beauty is in the character, not in the physicality. Renove was a demon that used to cross the earth spreading diplomacy and peace wherever he went. So something that appears attractive to you, I honestly feel like it might be beautiful, but it's dead. It's dead inside. It has no life. It has no value. It is only there to exist as a source of conflict. And your world here with Nuit is to be bigger than that. And you can then teach back. Because I'm not taking Chiron's woundedness here. I'm thinking of Chiron, the teacher of heroes. Especially under Renove's influence and the mission of propagation of light. So whatever this battle is, laugh at it, realise that not everything that you are seeing is as it seems. This battle does not automatically offer paradise and happiness. It offers, to be quite honest, mental conflict. And that mental conflict is good for you. You know, the mental conflict of, do I really want to get involved in this? And the answer is no. No, you don't. Because inspiration will come through something quite through something quite phenomenal being revealed, and by a meeting with someone that you believe to be your superior in whatever, you know, whether that's in their level of maturity, their level of expertise, even their finances, although I wouldn't really use that. But they are someone who shows you that you are their peer. You are their equal. And just because they're so much better at something in your mind than you are, or they have so much more of something like money than you do, doesn't make you any the less valid here. Ooh, now. King of Pentacles for Nuit. So whatever this weird unknown event is, it's going to stand in your stead, and it's going to help you have an encounter. Now, when I say an encounter, it could be that you read an article by some guru or some scientist or some politician or just some really good reporter, you know, that makes you go, huh, I'm as good as they are. But I really do feel there is a benefic influence here from this Seven of Wands, of someone that you think is all that. And again, King of Pentacles here. The King of Pentacles has a reputation of being all that. But you think that they're all that. They're like the top of their whatever, trade, skill, emotional level, whatever. And they recognize you as an equal. Or if it's more of a text thing, something that you read, I don't know why I'm talking about things that you read, but it's popped into my head. But if it's something that you read, it helps you realise, hang on a minute, I'm their equal. Because there has been some dark thoughts around you recently with Sarah Dwen here, but this unexpected changes things. It takes you on a journey, and it takes you to somewhere where you gain a harvest, and the inspiration finally hits. So that mental conflict that this Five of Wands here implies is also a shattering of limitations that you put on yourself. You know, all those shoulds and I can'ts. That not wanting to get involved in whatever this battle is, even though it promises lovely happiness. But sometimes the greater happiness is in not acting. The greater pleasure, you know, is just like the phrase, not voting is also a vote. Then I feel that there's an element of not acting here is also very much an action. You just do not want to be a puppet on a string. You can be a trickster, but be aware that that trickster influence is everywhere, and it is operating to your advantage. There's something that you may be tricked on that is guiding you to a new place where you go, well, that was a load of utter codswallop, but hey, look where I've ended up following it anyway, that's fine. But just do not follow any codswallop into battle, because that's something for you to step back from. That is something that you are not to be enslaved in. That is something where when you go, yeah, not this again, you're being told that the wheel has turned and the cycle's come back and, oh, it's this again. But think of the planet's movement through space. The solar system itself is moving. The sun itself is moving. The orbit of the planet through space is not a circle. It's a spiral because the sun is moving. And any cycle in nature is not a circle, it is a spiral. And for someone to try and make you believe it's a circle and try to bite off more than they can chew, they're lying, or they are totally mistaken, you know, totally misunderstanding whatever it is. But this Seven of Wands here, this really does, whether it's an article that you read or a person that you meet that you believe is all that, it opens up a whole new world for you here. It gives Ceridwen here the inspiration that she needs when she finally gives birth to her beautiful boy. She had to sacrifice one boy and a servant to get it, but, you know, she got there in the end. But here, that teaching element, there's wish fulfillment in that teaching element. And whereas I would say, oh, it's beautiful wish fulfillment, it's more the feeling that I'm getting from it is you going, ha, told you so, now do you see? And this is why my way has worked, and you're going to battle and expecting everything to be the same, didn't, because it's not the same. Loki is abroad and he is working to your advantage. But that doesn't mean that everything that you find out is true. There will be a few things you find out that are lies. But the need to go to battle is not one of Loki's lies. That's man. That's Mars here. That is a lovely reading. And it also signifies, hopefully, the end of all the... Because I'm sorry, Aquarius, you have had a few readings from me that have been downright miserable. But this, it looks like it's all starting to come clear now. It's all starting to... I mean, you've got to work as well. But right now, the advice is do not go to war. You're biting off more than you can chew, and you'll be surprised what comes along while you're busy not going to war. Might call the reading that, actually. I'm trying to think. I mean, these Gods That Play readings are always really dramatic, but I want to think of a good headline for it. But I think do not go to war. I don't know, is it catchy enough? You tell me in the comments. Yeah, there's an idea. Suggest alternative titles for this reading to whatever I put up. Right, so that's it. Like, share, subscribe. And your next readings to come out will be your Chinese zodiac readings. So, yeah, they'll be out by the end of the week. Cheers. Best of luck. This is going to be fun.